Just got to remember to mute Facebook. I can
Don't
hear.
sell your property now.
Don't sell it.
Don't sell your property now.
What are we going to do then?
Don't sell your property now. Don't sell your property now. Don't. Guys, we want to talk with you this morning about every real estate agent wants you to sell their property, but we also want to do the right thing by our clients. And we want to, there's a right time to sell and there's a wrong time to sell. And we want to advise you on that this morning.
Yep. So, Mark, are we talking about every property, luxury, hotels, commercial, $1 million, one bedders, three bedders? What are you going at? What are you talking about? Why shouldn't you sell? Is it because it's Christmas? Is it a shit time of year? Is it because it's Melbourne Cup today? Why?
We're retiring.
Yeah.
You know, no more real estate for us. No, just joking. I'll tell you why. The government incentives that are out there, the big one that they've really incentivized the marketplace with, and the obvious one is interest rates. Another big one, which is a bit of a dark horse, is first home buyer grant. Again, first home buyers are saving almost 20 grand. I can hear something coming back on me, Mike. The first home buyers can now, with their super, the first home buyers with their super are going to be able to purchase from the first of, are going to be able to purchase now with their super and live in the property. And a 5% deposit on January 1st is going to be available to use instead of a 10 or 20% deposit that attracts mortgage insurance under 20%. So there's these monster incentives coming. If you sell your property now, you are going to be cheating yourself out of some really nice capital growth. We honestly believe that capital growth is on the cards for January, February, March.
And that's because, like, there's going to be basically why? Because there's going to be more buyers, more competition. Because people love incentives, they love deals. It's whenever there's a sale on or something that's not normal, and something that has made it more beneficial to do it now. Like a lot of people love most people love buying property. They see that little kick. And we believe a big portion of the market and buyers, would you say, well, a lot of that first homeowners would be properties that are between 500,000 to 700,000. So would you say it's those properties within that sort of price range?
Yep. And it happened last time. Last time there was huge first home buyer incentives. The market kicked hard in that incentive range. So much so that you may, if you're going to be selling, I reckon you could be selling for as much as 25 to 50 grand more by the mid or end of the first quarter of next year. So if you're looking to sell your place under 700 grand, the message from us is don't wait.
And that's because it'll kick in January, a lot of buyers. So what time would be ideal?
I would, I reckon, look, there's also a philosophy.
If it kicks in 1st of Jan, well, no, first timers would be gearing up now. So I know on one of the incentives, it's only 10,000 applicants. So first in best dress. So who knows?
That's the 5% one.
Yeah, you may get 10,000 geared up in December and they're just going to hit them and they need to buy in the first 2 weeks. Or that could last 6 months. I'm not sure of the quantity of buyers. So you almost want to have your property positioned to at least be, so, okay, this could be the thing then. If you've got a price point, you want your property to be one of the first ones seen, but you may offer a bit longer settlement for that first home buyer to get some of their paperwork in order to encourage them. Where if you may be if the first home buyer hasn't done any work, it can take a couple of weeks for them to get their paperwork and their loans approved. And obviously they're a bit more cautious because they've never bought before. You may offer them that longer settlement, but lock in that exchange compared to a property in that price point who just wants a normal 6-week settlement. So that could be a little tip as well for that. What else?
I also reckon if you're buying, you want to be buying right now.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about in Novak News last night. The property market's gone up 1.7% in a month.
Yep.
1.7% in a month represents a property of $1 million is 17 grand.
And also a big thing to, even though you may not be buying now, less competition because everyone's going to be waiting January. And we just had a recent deal on an apartment where there was 2 buyers going to just show you the competition. Like the owners were happy at a certain level, but 2 buyers really wanted it. And they ended up going for 15, 20 grand above that, which now that's with people sort of waiting for it. Now imagine when the incentive kicks in, and instead of an agent having 2 buyers, we've got 3 or 4 or 5 all wanting to buy to use a grant. You could end up paying 20, 30, 50, 60 grand more. So I think it's a great tip to look now because most people are not looking now as well.
And look, you know, Michael, that example you just gave was a definite example. It was a finite example because there was a definite sale in the building of almost an identical unit 3 months ago. It showed and it showed the strength of this sale now. That's in that very short time, man. Again, like you said, without those incentives, I just reckon in 3 months' time, fucking, you know, it's Candyland time for sellers. Buyers, you're going to be paying more. But at the end of the day, I know we're micromanaging the market in this discussion, but at the end of the day, you're buying this puppy for 5 or 10 years. I know it's nice to get in and not pay that 5 or 10 grand more, but sort of who cares? It's going to double in 10, 12 years time. If you look at the past 50 years of what the market's done, should do that. So what's 5, 10, 25 grand. But if you can make it now, buy now.
100%, because you know what actually happens when that first homeowner keeps missing out or it keeps going more than what they were thinking. They end up just not buying. They go, fuck it, it's too hard. This is too heartbreaking. I've got my lawyer check 3 properties. I've had 3 strata reports. They end up not buying. And then they come out of the market for 6 months. And you know what? Generally, it's up even more expensive then. So it can even be more heartbreaking. So then instead of paying that extra 5 or 10 grand more, it can end up costing you a lot more in the present, in that sort of year, because you buy at maybe a busier time, or you don't buy and then it really costs you more.
All right, devil's advocate, is it going to go down?
Well, we've said it many times, the interest rates being this low is not a good thing for the economy. Like the economy is not super strong. So there is that third party influence of anything else in the economy hurting the property market. I don't see it going really in our area any lower. It may plateau. But in some areas it could very much well go down. But I think here it will stay consistent. It's probably a shop for it, but it's still pretty affordable around here.
If you can actually buy and your monthly repayments are less than your rent, I don't care what anyone says. I reckon that's just a good time to buy.
Yeah, like if you're buying a 1-bedder entry like Queenscliff, we're talking about one suburb from Manly for 600 grand, 650, and your interest on 3% is 19 grand a year, 18 grand P&I. Like if you can you do interest only on some owner occupiers, or is that fully gone? Or not sure?
I think it's not fully gone, but I think it's the way they rate it. I think the incentive is so great for principal and interest. Yep. Given the interest rates, people are just opting to do the P&I. So I think there's about 0.75 difference in P&I.
Okay.
In your interest rate, so you're paying 3/4 of an interest of 1% more. So it's like, you know what, I may as well just do P&I, pay some shit off, and get a lower interest rate than give it to someone for nothing.
So you're paying less than rent for a lot of 1-bedders. So like it's saving that deposit. I I still reckon we're very, very affordable around the beaches. So I think if anything, it's because we've come back on some properties around that 5, 10, 15% from 2017. It's bringing people into the market, because also you've got to remember, now people know where it can go, because you always think, oh, will it ever go for more than this? When people were seeing, for example, let's just say a one bedder in Queenscliff, at one stage we're selling for 750, and then now you can buy them for 650. People like, when the market's back, economy is good, I know it can be worth 750. So they've actually got more confidence, because if people were willing to pay it a couple of years ago, they'll be willing to pay it again. And it may be in 5 years, it may be in 3 years, maybe in 10, and then the benchmark will lift again as well. So I think actually some people can have a bit of confidence in that as well, because we've had a high mark and it's come back, and then we'll slowly build. So that's what I reckon.
Now, just a couple of aesthetics things. What the hell are you wearing today?
Yeah, we're changing it up. Dressed by Rembrandt at Warringah Mall. I don't question him. I just say, give me something a bit different for Melbourne Cup, and this is what he gave me.
You're actually changing your name today as well, yeah? Like John, or what's a good Irish name?
Oh,
Patrick. No, that's Scottish.
Patrick. Oh, Peter.
And for anyone who's watching on Facebook, yes, I'm in New York.
Yeah, got the background pumping. Anyway.
Any comments from our viewers?
No, I think everyone's
Melbourne Cup. What do you reckon this Melbourne Cup? Bunch of shit. Great day.
I'm just keen for the lunch at the pavilion. I'm keen for food. I'm hungry.
So guys, where we're off to today is Manly Pavilion, right on the wharf in Manly, probably one of the most beautiful places in Sydney, I reckon, owned by the lovely Severino family. They put on a good show, hey?
Yeah, it's going to be good. They run it well. I had my brother's Bucks lunch there last weekend, and it was beautiful. What did we have? There was salmon and beef. It was good. So I'm glad to go back twice in a month. And
no alcohol today for you.
No, I got training at 4 a.m. So I'm gonna do it. So we got sparring, so it's not going to be good to have a couple drinks in the stomach, hopefully.
And you lost 20 kilos in the last 6 months.
Yep, down 20 kilos as well. So doing well. Back, so. And
for anyone that's watching, Michael used to be a 135 kilos.
Yeah, 130.
So you lost 55 kilos over the last 5 years.
Yeah. So it's been good. I had a couple of neck injuries, put 25 back on, and now I've dropped the 20. So I'm excited. It's always a battle. But it's good. You just got to find some good exercise and good routine. So routine's strong at the moment.
Secret to weight loss.
As Tom Paddles.
Secret to weight loss.
Sorry?
Your secret? What works for you for weight loss?
Staying busy. Most of it's all mental. And early mornings. It has to be early mornings because work gets in the, work's work. So whenever you try and do training at night time, work comes up. So that's been it.
Food?
Work comes up. So whenever I try and schedule training at night time, generally like a meeting will come up and then you miss it. So the key is you got to go to bed early and wake up early. I'm up at 5, the alarm goes off, train for an hour and a half, and then in the office by 6:45, 7.
What time you up?
3:55. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, up early, but it's worth it.
What time you go to bed?
Stop looking at my phone at 9 p.m. and I try and be asleep by 9:30.
Wow.
So it's been different. It's a good shift. I'm enjoying it. So we'll keep it up.
So how long have you been doing it now for? 6 months.
A year, but 6 months really strong since I did the Winter Warrior. It was the first 6 months was like patchy on and off because I hadn't found that training routine. I was sort of just training by myself. And then the last sort of 6 months it's been with a gym program. Good morning, Amal. With a gym program, which I think it's very, very important. Training by yourself is boring. Everyone knows, like when you're training with a rugby team, the camaraderie that pumps, or you see a lot of people when they go, oh, I've got the CrossFit cult or like your F45 cult. It's because you just get immersed in it, and that's what keeps you going. Because let's face it, no one really wants to get up. No one really wants to get up every morning and train, but you've got to do it. So.
And spinal damage.
Yeah. And spinal damage, nerve damage. So that's another story. I think Amal can relate to that as well. We've had a few conversations about getting through that.
Unbelievable. Very determined. Well done. Guys, have a great Melbourne Cup. Have you got any comments from our viewers?
No, Amal, quiet today. I think everyone.
Hey, Amal, how are you?
So.
I can't see comments on this end. But mate, have a great day. Guys, have an awesome Melbourne Cup today. Interesting property market, the turn that it's made and where it's going. And to optimize on that, it's even more interesting what people are actually doing. So it's interesting times, eh? Huge.
100%. All righty, let's wrap it up.
Okay, mate. Take care. See ya.
Bye.